Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the undergraduate webinar series, an interactive online platform connecting high school students to the Ashoka community. Thank you for joining us today for the webinar on demystifying scholarships at Ashoka. My name is Taran, and I work with the Office of Outreach. I work as an academic counselor. I help students fill their Ashoka University's undergraduate application form. Joining me today are Jyoti Bhatia, Assistant Director, Office of Scholarships, and Tejasvi Anand, Deputy Manager, Office of Scholarships. Together, we will be addressing some of your queries on scholarships available to students at Ashoka University. Before we get started, I would like to inform our audience that the deadline for round 2 of Ashoka's undergraduate program is 21st January 2026. You do not have to wait for your class 12 board marks or CUET to apply. You can get a confirmed offer of admission and scholarship even before your final board results are announced. Now, without further ado, let's get started. Before we begin, I would request our audience to kindly type any questions they might have in the Q&A box provided on your Zoom screen, and we will address them towards the end of the session. Over to you, Jyoti.
Yeah, thank you, Taranpreet, for that introduction. Hello and good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us for the webinar today. Now, talking about scholarships at Ashoka University, well, the university offers several scholarship opportunities for undergraduate students. And these broadly fall into two categories, which is the need-based scholarships and the merit-based scholarships. So for the 2026 intake, we have introduced two new merit scholarships. First is the special merit scholarships. So now, in this scholarship, a 100% tuition fee waiver will be awarded to 50 exceptional achievers who have achieved good scores in tests like JEE Mains, ICER Aptitude Test, CMI Entrance Test, and the Indian National Olympiads. Now, students with high scores in these national aptitude tests will be benefiting from this scholarship, the special scholarship program. The scholarship is awarded once you share the test scores with us and if you have met the eligibility criteria, which is specified for the relevant tests. And for the eligibility criteria, you can refer to our website. We will also be sharing the link with you shortly, and it will also be displayed in the end for your reference. The second main scholarship is the Achievers Merit Scholarship. Now, in this scholarship, up to a 100% tuition fee waiver will be awarded to 150 students. This will be based on their overall performance in the holistic Ashoka University's admission process, with recognition for high performance in school board examinations and specifically for boards like CBSE, ICSE, and ISC. This scholarship will be awarded to you along with the offer of admission. So these are the two main merit-based scholarships which we have introduced this year. And apart from that, we have a need-based scholarships. So at Ashoka University, our philosophy is to make our world-class education affordable and accessible to all the students, irrespective of whatever background they come from. And offering need-based scholarships is a key component of carrying out our commitment. So to reflect, how strongly we believe in this philosophy, well, since inception, Ashoka University has awarded over 720 crore rupees in these kind of scholarships. So now this is an amount which has been unheard of in our country, going only towards scholarships. And more than 5,400 students have been benefited from these scholarships across both the undergraduate as well as the postgraduate programs. Now, given this kind of a philosophy, we follow a need blind admissions and a need based scholarship support. Now, to explain this in a little more detail, I would like to mention that we do not ask for any of your income proofs or your financial aspects while we are considering your admission to Ashoka University. Admissions is entirely based on your holistic assessment of the candidate, which includes your academic merit. However, this need-based scholarship is assessed entirely on the basis of the financial standing of a student's family. So, any student who is eligible for the need-based scholarship, they can receive a support of anywhere between a 20% waiver on their tuition fees to a full waiver on all their costs, which will include their hostel fees as well as the meal costs. So this typically means that if you apply for a need-based scholarship, you can get anywhere between a 20% waiver on your tuition fee to a full waiver on all the costs, which will include your tuition expense, your residence expense, as well as your meal cost. And talking in terms of the amount, so it can be anywhere between a 2 lakh waiver per annum to almost 13 lakh waiver per annum on your fees. So our main aim here is to bridge the gap between the cost of the program and your ability to pay. Now, let's see that, for the undergraduate program, how the scholarships have panned out over since the inception. So, since the launch of the undergraduate program in 2014, our general scholarship policy has supported approximately 44% of our students through the scholarship grants. And of the students who have received these scholarships, 59% students have received a partial waiver, which varies between 25% waiver on the tuition fee to a 90% waiver, and almost 41% students have received a minimum waiver of 100% on tuition fees or higher, which covers your meal cost as well as your residence cost. So this is the kind of commitment which we have done over the years for the undergraduate program students. Now we come to a very important question, which is that who can apply for this need-based scholarship? So only those students who receive a firm offer of admission from the university, they will be given an opportunity to apply for the need-based scholarships. And in case you receive a conditional or a deferred offer, then you will not be eligible to apply for the need-based scholarship. And also please note, the students who have received a merit-based scholarship, they also have a chance to apply for the need-based scholarships. So anybody receiving a firm offer of admission from the university is eligible to apply for the need-based scholarship. Okay, so now I will hand it over to my colleague Tejasvi, who will walk you through the scholarship timeline, the application process, and also the key aspects to keep in mind when you're applying for this scholarship. So over to you, Tejasvi.
Right. Thank you so much, Jayati. So, I'll start with the timelines first. So, when can you apply for the scholarship? Once you have received a firm offer of admission to Ashoka, that's the date when your scholarship application form will be enabled. So, scholarship application form for round two opens on 8th of April 2026, and the scholarship form is linked to the offer letter. So, as in when you receive a offer of admission, the scholarships form is enabled. Now, the question is, uh, Jay, can you please move to the next slide? How can you apply for the scholarship? So let me take you through the process for applying for scholarships. Firstly, I would request you to please ensure that the two email addresses, which is the admissions@ashoka.edu.in and ug.scholarships@ashoka.edu.in, are added to your inbox address so that the mails you receive from these email addresses do not go into the spam. Now, if you are shortlisted for the personal interview, your interview invite email only will tell you to start preparing for the mandatory documents and the information required for the scholarship application. So we'd request you to please visit the scholarships page and download a sample copy of the need-based sample application form that we've uploaded there and start sourcing the documents. Now, this is a very, very important step because some documents may take a longer time to procure. For example, any document from a government agency, for example, Haryana domicile certificate, or any documents from your accountants may take some days or even weeks. Uh, Secondly, documents related to banks, such as bank statements, would also, take almost 2 to 3 days or sometimes over a week to be procured. So, which is why please start the process immediately. Once you receive a firm offer of admission, you will be able to access the scholarship form. Each candidate will have 7 days to complete and submit the form from the offer date. These 7 days are not for you to start thinking about the scholarships or to begin sourcing your documents. It is enough time to understand the flow of the Ashoka portal and the flow of the online form and to start inputting the information that you already have, which is why and this is quite a lot of information that you request for. So we would urge you to not wait until the last minute. Let me now take you to the main sections of the scholarship form. The form has 5 main sections, which is first one being personal and family details, which talks about where you've studied, where you live, your address, and your other contact details, your family members, their occupations, etc. Then we move to the second most important section, which is the earning member details section, which talks about the earning members of the family. We would request you to please include your parents, siblings, or any other earning members of the family if they stay with you, including yourself if you are also an earning member. Then comes the business detail section, which talks about the income details of the family members who are involved in any sort of businesses or professions. So for if your family owns a business or a consultancy, this is the section that you need to fill in the details more appropriately. Wealth and expenses detail section is the next section, which requires you to provide all the assets and investment details of your family and all the fixed expenses that your family incurs in a financial year. The last section is the comment section, which is mandatory, and this is the main opportunity for you to explain in detail why your family, is in the need of need-based scholarship or require scholarship. Here, you may feel free to write in all the details that you feel we should know. It's also very, very useful for you to know that our assessment is completely based on what you provide. So please ensure that you provide us with an exhaustive information. Now, we'll move to the next slide, which is uh, before we move to the next slide, I'll also want to add something which is coming to my mind right now. Once you've completed and submitted the form, the Office of Scholarships looks through all the information that you have provided. So we review and verify all the information. We then have a meeting with the scholarships committee, and then we come to a final decision on the eligibility for the candidate for the scholarship grant. And then the amount of grant the scholarships committee decide for that particular respective candidate, and that becomes the need-based scholarship for you for the complete duration of the program. Now, what is your responsibility as a candidate? So as a candidate applying for the scholarships, you should ensure that you take the ownership and the responsibility for ensuring that your form is eligible for assessment. So firstly, as the scholarship application forms requires in-depth knowledge of the financial details of the family, so only your parents, guardians should complete the form. So you need to ensure that they provide accurate and complete financial information to us. So we have designed the form in a way that it has all the sections and the cells asking the relevant and important information. So please do not take any of the sections lightly, and do provide us with comprehensive and complete information. So you ensure that your application is complete. Even if you feel that we should know a certain piece of information, especially if it will assist your application, we would request you to please provide it in the form. We would also request you to not withhold any information which you may feel uh, may deter your application. Next would be you should all do not you really do not know the criteria that we use to assess the need-based scholarships. So if you withhold any of the information and we cannot see the complete picture, then it's very difficult for us to assess, and we'll consider your application as incomplete. Next important thing is, please do not leave any of the sections empty. We expect you to take this application very, very seriously and complete the form responsibly. We'll not be able to follow up with you for the missing information or the documents. So we'd request you to please consult your parents and prepare your documents dossier and the information in a manner that you are able to fill the complete need-based scholarship form in the given 7-day deadline that that was also shown as part of uh, the deadline matrix. Now we'll move to the next slide. Please remove password protected documents. So please remove the password protection before attaching the documents. We will not follow up with for the passwords, and your application risks being rejected for the missing documents. So if you do have passwords, we'd urge you to provide them in the comment section, or try to open that particular document and press Control P. Then you will be able to save that document as a PDF, which will not be password protected. So in this way, you will be able to save that and attach the document which is not password protected in a way. Before you submit the form, please check that you've completed all the required cells and uploaded all the mandatory documents. We also ask you to do this because once the form is submitted, we do not accept any other information through email or through hard copy. Hence, if it is not uploaded online, it's not going to be considered in the assessment. As we only consider the information in the form, once we have made a final decision, we will not be accepting any new information or documents. Hence, please do not submit the form in rush, uh, you know, and send us documents through email or through, by post, because we'll not be able to consider that as part of our policy. Now, there are some things, if we move to the next slide, we'll be able to there are some pointers which we've listed, which may lead to disqualification of the application as well. So many applications become ineligible and therefore they are rejected even before they are assessed. Some of the main reasons that we have listed here are: if the application has incomplete sections, that could maybe have missing documents, that could maybe have NA as part of the information that should be apt. For example, a simple example would be, if you do not have a particular document at hand and you think that you will be able to procure that document in maybe a couple of days or so, or maybe within a week or 2 weeks, then you attach a self-declaration there stating that this particular document is not available at the moment, and you will make sure that this particular document will be available by this particular date. And you can attach that self-declaration, which is when and also your contact details there, so that the team can contact you basis on the information provided. The next thing is, if your application has discrepancies or inconsistent information. For example, the figures did not match the supporting documents. For example, if the ITR documents in the income tax return says that your income is XXX, for example, INR 10 lakhs, but you have mentioned there as 5 lakhs or 6 lakhs, thinking that you have to only mention of the document, the numbers which are given in the acknowledgement, which is not the right case. You should technically check the detailed ITR and mention the correct numbers there. Then the third point would be, if your application had deliberately been misleading or have inaccurate information. So we would also urge you to complete the form in the spirit of full disclosure of the information, so that we can make a fair assessment of your eligibility for the need-based scholarship. Please do not try to hide or conceal any numbers, any documents, any sort of investments, any details about the wealth or the assets that you own, because we do take care, we do check all the applications in detail, and we would request you to please adhere to the guidelines that are being discussed here. And next, if your application was missing the mandatory supporting documents, then these are the 4 things where we believe that the application is subject to a disqualification. Lastly, I'd also like to add that during the process of the filling the form, you may have a lot of questions about how to fill the form, or very specific queries to your situation, or how the income disclosures may happen in your country if you are coming from any country apart from India. And we also understand that some of you may not fully understand how to upload the documents. In such situations, we would strongly urge you to reach out to us in the email address that is being shown on the screen right now, which is ug.scholarship. Please, next slide, please. Which is ug.scholarships @ashoka.edu.in. You must also contact us before the deadline and not wait for the deadline to get over. We will ensure that we will answer all your queries and assist you in completing the form in case you face any difficulties. Secondly, while our responsibility is to provide access to global education to everybody, irrespective of their financial background, it is the family's responsibility to provide us with all the information completely and accurately. We can tell you that all the details are entirely confidential, and none of this will be shared with anyone outside the university unless the individual has been designated specifically to help us assess the scholarships. Therefore, please disclose everything fully and completely. And that brings me to the end of this presentation. I will now hand over to Taranpreet for the Q&A. Thank you.
Thank you, Tejasvi. So I'll just open the Q&A box and I'll start with the questions. So the first question is, when does the student get to know they have received the scholarship?
Okay, so as I mentioned earlier, that if it's a merit scholarship and if you qualify for the Achievers Merit Scholarship, then you will be informed about the same when you get your offer of admission. And if you apply for the need-based scholarship, then as Tejasvi mentioned, that your decisions will be shared, say in about 3 to 4 weeks time when you submit your application form. And for the special merit scholarship, if you have shared your test scores with us and if you meet the eligibility criteria, then along with your offer of admission, if you have already attached those test scores in the application form, then along with the offer of admission, you will be receiving the merit scholarships. And if during the course of you joining the university, say till August, as and when you get your test scores, you can share the results with us, and if you've met the criteria, you've got the offer of admission, then your scholarship will be reinstated to you, and your fee structure will accordingly be updated.
Okay, thank you, Jyoti. There's another question that if my family is financially stable, but I need financial aid due to personal reasons, how can I opt for it?
Okay, so as we have mentioned that when we look at need-based financial aid, it is actually when we're looking at the family's financial standing. So in this situation, what you can do is you can apply for the scholarship form, the need-based scholarship form. You can mention everything, what are your concerns in the last comment section, which is the section wherein you have to and you should explain that why you're applying for the need-based scholarship. And then depending on your situation, if the committee feels that yes, the university can support you with a need-based scholarship, you may qualify for it or you may not qualify for it. So we cannot commit anything as of now, but you do have an option to apply for the scholarship. And yes, we will be needing, sorry, all the financial documents as well to assess the scholarship. Otherwise, we will not be able to make any decision.
Great. So I'll just take up the next question. It's related to the application form. The question is there any application fee and what all is asked in the application form? So there is no application fee, and the application has various sections. It will ask you about your personal details, your 10 standard marks, your 11 standard marks, and your 12 standard predicted marks. And it will also ask you about your extracurricular activities. There's an essay question there in the form for which you have to write an answer. LOR is not mandatory. Any standardized test is also not mandatory, such as SATs, ACT, CUET is not mandatory. So these are the various sections in the application form that are asked to the students. If we are not offered the desired scholarship, can we appeal again?
Yes, I'll take this up. Yes, you have a you should appeal to us. You can appeal to us, in fact, for that matter. However, the final decision is subject to the discretion of the scholarships committee at Ashoka.
Great. And are there any scholarships for international students?
Yes, so both the scholarships that we've discussed are the need-based scholarship is applicable for the international students as well.
Great. And the process is the same for the international students, right?
Absolutely same process.
Great. Is the scholarship application integrated with the admission form or is it a separate process?
So it happens to be a separate process. I am talking about the need-based scholarship. However, it starts when you get a firm offer of admission. So after you've been, offered a firm offer from Ashoka University, then you will have the link to or the details about the need-based scholarship form, where you will, get access to the application form, and also the information will talk about all the documents that are, that should be attached in the application form. So which is why we request all our audience to go visit the need-based sample application form that is being uploaded on the website, and do check the information and the documents that are required.
Great. And is there any cutoff for salary or assets?
So there is no cutoff per se. However, we have tried to give a rough estimate of what the scholarships look like on the undergraduate admission page. So we would request all the students and the parents to do visit our website and do check that out. If there are any questions pertaining to, specifically related to your financial standing or your family, please do write to us at ug.scholarships and we'll be able to take that there.
Great. So the next question is regarding the Haryana domicile certificate. What are the advantages of uploading a domicile certificate in the
So,
application form? Yeah.
right. So if you are a resident of Haryana, then you are eligible for a partial or a full tuition fee waiver, which is subject to submitting the Haryana residence certificate, which is the Haryana domicile certificate. So that is the mandatory document, and there is no substitute of that document. So no Aadhaar card, no PAN card, no passport, no Parivar Pehchan Patra, no any other, no, and not even the domicile certificate of the parents. Only the domicile certificate for the applicants is the only eligible document with which you can avail a Haryana domicile fee concession, and this is totally based on the fee guidelines that are mentioned as per the Haryana Private Universities Act 2006.
Great. So the next question is very interesting. My elder daughter is studying in Ashoka 2024 UG intake. She is getting need-based scholarship. My second daughter is also aspiring for 2026 intake. Is the need-based scholarship shall be pre-approved considering the sibling case?
No, in that case, we do take into account the new application as a fresh application. We will, you will have to submit the complete need-based scholarship again, where you will punch in all the details related to all the earning members, all the assets and liabilities that you currently have, all the loans, all the, the house that you live in, all the details that are being mentioned there, post which the committee will decide upon the aid or the need-based scholarship that should be granted to you in this case. They will definitely take into account that your elder daughter is studying at Ashoka, and will decide on the scholarship that should be granted to you in that particular case.
Great. So as we weren't giving up board results, then what grades are taken into consideration here? So I'll take this up. In the application form, we know that the 12th standard board results are not yet out, and students will be giving their 12th standard boards in the month of Feb and March. So in the 12th standard section, students have to put predicted marks. Either they can, take the school predicted marks from their school and put that in the application, or they also have an option to self-predict their own marks. Now, when you self-predict your own marks, you have to consider certain parameters, like how your half yearlies went, how your pre-boards went, and how your preparation is going on for the board exams, and then just come to a reasonable mark. So under the 12th standard section, you have to put your predicted marks. Can I opt for one-on-one counseling? Definitely, you can opt for the one-on-one counseling with your academic counselors. And we also have a live help desk that is going on for tomorrow and day after as well. And the link will be shared in the chat box. So definitely, please go through that link as well. Uh, so the next question is, where can I find the financial aid scholarship form?
Yes, so if you're talking about the sample need-based scholarship form, that is there. We've posted it on the on our financial aid or need-based scholarship webpage. However, if you're talking about the actual need-based application form, that will be you will find that link once you get a firm offer of admission.
Great. Um, what should I do if someone in my family is unwilling to cooperate with providing all of the information or financial documents? That's a very
Right.
specific question.
Yeah, right. So in that case, I'd also like to, bring this to, bring this to the attention of all the people who are attending the webinar, that at Ashoka University, we believe that the primary responsibility for, supporting the education of the children at Ashoka lies upon the parents. So, and then the financial aid or the need-based scholarship comes into picture to bridge the gap to support your academic journey at Ashoka. So, which is why uh, we would urge you to have a conversation with your parents and your mentors regarding this, and then accordingly apply for the need-based scholarship, because without having proper details and documents, we will not be able to help you. So we would require the proper details and documents, which also means details of the earning members, details of the business, profession, details of assets versus liabilities, everything, all the sections of the form in a complete manner. So as to, in order for us to assess the exact need and then accordingly support you through your academic journey.
Okay. Does applying in round two over round three increase my chances of a merit scholarship?
Well, no, there is no criteria for that because, as you mentioned, that merit scholarships are divided into two sections. One will be your Achievers Merit Scholarships, and that will be dependent on your performance in the Ashoka, admissions process overall, and also your board results, like your class 10th board results. And with respect to the other national entrance tests, so that will be dependent on as and when you get your scores. So even if you apply in round one, if you're getting your, JEE mean scores or the Indian National Olympiad scores in round three or four, if you qualify the criteria, you will be eligible to receive the scholarship. So it's not mandatory for you to apply in round one or round two only. In three and four, also, if you apply, you have equal chances of getting the merit scholarships.
Great. Um, could you please share how many students are awarded the need-based scholarships each year and whether this number remains consistent annually?
Well, I cannot share the exact percentage or the number of students receiving the scholarships, but yes, what we can say is that the students who generally qualify for the need-based scholarships are being given the scholarships, and we have already shared with you the percentage of students who are receiving these kind of scholarships at Ashoka and the amount of scholarships which we are giving to them. So we are very generous and we try and support all the students, all the families who need that support. And sorry, what was the next part, like the last part?
And
Question?
whether this number remains consistent annually.
Oh, number remains consistent depends on the students applying for the scholarships. But yes, our intent here is to, help and support the families, bridge the gap between the cost of the program and their ability to pay. So we are definitely here to support you and guide you in this process.
Okay, so the scholarship is just for 1 year and we need to reapply every year, or is it for the whole 4-year program?
So it is awarded for the whole 4 years program. Although we can ask you to share your financials, like basic ITRs of your parents in any of the years. But apart from that, the scholarship which is granted to you at the beginning of the first year when you are joining remains consistent for the 3 or 4 years.
Okay. Um, I'm a single parent and the non-custodial parent is absent and is not involved. How do I proceed with the information?
Okay, so then you can fill the form with your financials and you can also attach a degree or a legal document which states the current situation. And you can also explain it in the last section, which is the comment section. And accordingly, then we will, the committee will decide how best we can support you. And if we need any further clarification, then we may reach out to you separately over an email or maybe through a call to understand the family situation and how we can support you.
Okay. There's another long question. My father recently lost his job, but he has decent assets and investments which he wants to utilize for meeting living expenses for at least next 30 years, given that he doesn't expect to get another job, given his age and also the state of industry and economy. Can we still be considered for need-based scholarship?
Yes, I mean, there is, no disqualifying factor as we have, mentioned so far. So if you fill the form honestly with all the, details and documents, all the asset details, genuinely, if the committee feels that, you need a support, you will, you may qualify for the scholarship. So nothing really disqualifies you at this stage to not apply for the need-based scholarship.
Okay. So what does firm offer mean? Should I take this one?
Yes, you can.
So a firm offer is offered to the candidate, after which they are only required to pass their class 12th or equivalent examination. So that means that the admissions have, issued a confirmed offer of admission to the candidate, and they are only now required to pass the class 12th exam results. So that's what it means. What is the income criteria for need-based scholarships?
Okay, so as Tejasvi has mentioned that there's no fixed income criteria, so to say. So anybody can apply for the need-based scholarships. And for a reference check, we have mentioned that for a particular income, maybe you can qualify for this much scholarship, but again, it's dependent on certain factors. So we would request you that you should visit our scholarship page, go to the undergraduate program section, and over there you can find a table which mentions approximately at a certain income level how much you can expect to receive as a need-based scholarship.
Okay. Will I be considered for Achievers Merit Scholarship? I have 96.2% in 10th boards and 94% in 12th standard boards.
Okay, so for the Achievers Merit Scholarship, right now the criteria which is mentioned on the website is 98% or above in your class 10 scores in a CBSE, ICSE, or ISC boards. So then now it will depend on how you perform in your, the other parameters of the admissions process, which will be your interview and your assessment. So it's not a no as of now, but yes, it will be dependent on these parameters. So just give your best during the interview round.
Okay. Um, are the cutoff marks for 10th grade a binding criteria for merit-based scholarship, regardless of a strong performance in the Ashoka admission process?
So it is not a binding criteria. It is, of course, one of the criterias. Plus, it also mentions that it looks at your holistic performance during the admissions process. So, you should give your best during the interview and the Ashoka aptitude test, I think, which will happen on the 1st of February. So
Okay.
just focus on that. Yes.
Yeah. Um, how many essays are there? Is there a word limit? So we have one essay in the application form, and students are only required to write an answer for the same. And there is a word limit of 500 words. This essay I'm talking about is the one in the application form. Um, so I'll just quickly take a few, assessment and application related queries. Um, so is the assessment offline or online this time? So this time the Ashoka assessment is going to be offline, and each round has its own assessment date. I would highly encourage everyone to go through the timeline once and see the assessment dates of each of the round. How long is the assessment? The assessment is in total of 2 hours. And how can we prepare for the Ashoka assessment? So the Ashoka assessment is divided into two parts. So one part is an aptitude part, which is of 90 minutes, and the other part is a on-the-spot essay, which will be of 30 minutes. So for the aptitude part, there will be 40 questions, all MCQs, and these questions will be based on topics like basic algebra, mathematical reasoning, logical reasoning, etc. And there is no negative marking for the aptitude part. For the on-the-spot essay, there will be two topics given, and the student will choose one topic and write on it. For the on-the-spot essay, there is no word limit. Uh, what are the timings of the interview? So students are shortlisted for the interview, and the interview is going to be online. So students can take it from home. So shortlisted students can choose their own date and time for the interview so that it doesn't clash with your board exam date or any other prior commitments that you might have. So students have the flexibility to choose their own date and time. Mm. Is there a campus tour? Yes, we do provide campus tour. In fact, we have the campus tour application. In fact, we do have the campus tour form available on the website. And please do get in touch with your academic counselors if you have started with the application form, and they'll share the campus tour form with you. Or you can just simply go to the website and you'll see it on top. Okay. Does Ashoka only accept AAA, or do other exam marks also count? So in the application form, we are asking for SATs, ACTs, CUET, and other entrance exam marks as well. However, these are not mandatory to put. Ashoka assessment is mandatory for all UG applicants. If a student has taken SAT, they are also required to take the Ashoka assessment. So other exam marks are not mandatory. Hence, Ashoka has its own assessment that all students are required to take. Okay, so I have another question, interesting one. Jyoti or Tejasvi, you can answer that. Over a 4-year period, there may be major changes in finances, right? Like a huge gain or loss. So does the need-based scholarship subject to this change?
Yes. So if you feel that, because we understand it's a 4-year long commitment and there can be changes in a family's financial circumstances. So if you feel that there has been, some major change in your family's financial circumstances, which has affected their financial planning for your 3 or 4 year degree, then you do get an option to apply for a scholarship, which is typically in the month of April, that you can reach out to the team and then we open the form for you. Again, it's the detailed form which you have to fill in, and you have to very clearly explain that what has changed financially in your family that makes you apply for the scholarship, the need-based scholarship, and accordingly then the committee will make a decision. So the entire process remains the same, but yes, you do get an option to apply for a need-based scholarship if there has been some drastic change in your family's financial circumstances.
Yeah. Is gold investment an asset, and are the scholarships first come, first serve basis?
So gold is an investment. Yes, you need to mention it in your asset details when you're filling the financial aid form. And regarding the second part, no, there is no first come first serve basis. If you qualify for a need-based scholarship, irrespective of whichever round you're applying in, you will receive the scholarship which the committee feels you deserve. So there is no first come first serve basis with respect to the need-based scholarships.
Okay. And what if we don't have the domicile certificate, but we have applied for it?
Okay, so in that situation, you can upload the, I think it's a receipt which they give you when you are applying for the resident or domicile certificate. So just upload that in the application form. And if you happen to apply for the need-based scholarship form, upload it there as well so that we can make a note of the same. It's an acknowledgement which you receive that you have applied for the Haryana resident certificate. But you will only be eligible to receive the fee concession once you submit the certificate to us. Otherwise, we will not be able to consider you as a Haryana domicile applicant. So submission of the certificate is key here if you're only looking to receive the Haryana domicile fee concession.
Okay. So I have another question, which is application related. Could you please clarify whether the medium for writing essays in the application process is restricted to English only, or if students are allowed to submit essays in other languages as well? So the medium of for writing the essay in the application process is English itself. Students are not allowed to write the answers in any other languages. Another query regarding the assessment is, if the Ashoka aptitude test is going to be offline, how will it happen for international students? So for international students, it will be conducted online only. Um, there's just so many questions. I have to keep going through them.
Yeah, I'm also replying to some of them online.
Okay,
So please
great.
keep checking if your queries are answered. Otherwise, please do ask us in the chat box itself, and we'll be able to also reply you there.
So is it mandatory to live on campus? Yes, it's absolutely mandatory to live on campus for all UG students. Mm.
Okay, so there's one question which says, we do not know our AAT scores. How
Mhm.
will we know we are eligible for the scholarship? So, as I've mentioned, that your scholarship, the Achievers Merit Scholarship, is not only dependent on one factor, but it is a comprehensive assessment of your performance in the application which you have submitted, in the Ashoka aptitude test, in your class 10th scores and 12th predicted grades, if those are available, and also your your performance in the interview which you will have with the panel. So, combined with all these factors, it is decided whether you will be shortlisted for the Achievers Merit Scholarship or not. So, please be assured that it is not dependent on only one factor, but it is a holistic assessment of your performance in all the aspects which we consider, which will be your merit scores in class 10th and 12th, any other entrance test which you have taken, your performance in the Ashoka aptitude test, your on the spot essay, the application form which you filled in, and finally the interview which you take.
Right. I have another interesting one. Apart from need-based, is there 100% fee waiver for exceptional creative skills like a bestseller author and creative manager? Does this count?
No, there is no merit scholarship for particular to these, achievements. But yes, of course, as I mentioned, that if you do, holistically well in all the aspects, and considering that you also have these qualities, maybe this can be an add-on, and maybe you may qualify for the Achievers Merit Scholarship. But solely on this criteria, there is no scholarship available.
Okay. Um, I'll just take the next one. For international students, are we supposed to convert our grading system to India's grading system? No, you're not supposed to do that. Please put the marks and grades according to your mark sheet, according to your country's grading system. And along with it, you also have to upload a conversion sheet or a grading scale that is usually behind your mark sheet. If it's not there, then you can always ask your school or your teachers to provide you with one, like the school grading scale or the conversion sheet, and then you can upload the same in the application form. But you do not need to convert your grading system to the India's grading system. Just put your marks or grades as it is on your original mark sheet. If I don't get a firm acceptance in round two, would I be still eligible for a firm acceptance and also the scholarship of confirmed admission in round three or four? Jyoti, do you want to take this one up?
So, again, so the question is
If I don't get a firm acceptance in round two, would I be
okay.
still eligible for a firm acceptance and also the scholarship of confirmed admission in the round three or four, like in the later stages?
Okay. So if you've not received, like if you apply in round two and you've not received a confirmed offer, maybe you might get a deferral or a wait list in that case. And most likely then it's dependent on your class 12th predicted, your class 12 final scores. That if you achieve what you've mentioned in your predicted grades or maybe some other criteria, so there might be a chance that you can receive a final offer in round three or four. Merit scholarship, you may or may not qualify, but at that stage you will definitely have an option to apply for the need-based scholarship. So as and when you get an offer, if you've received, say, a deferral or a wait list and it gets converted later into a final offer, you will be eligible to apply for the need-based scholarship then.
Right. And is there a GPA to be maintained to keep the need-based aid or the merit
No,
scholarship?
no, there is no GPA requirement to be maintained for the continuation of the merit or the need-based scholarship. But yes, definitely we would expect you to have a decent score so that you can complete all your credits within the 4-year window and you can graduate within the 4-year program.
Okay. And do IGCs and A-level scores also count for merit scholarship?
No, as of now, what it's been mentioned on the website, it says CBSE boards, ICSE, and ISC boards. So these are the three main boards which should be considered for the Achievers Merit Scholarship. But yes, if you've done exceptionally well in your entire admissions process, you might be considered for the Achievers Merit Scholarship, even if you are from an IB or an Cambridge board. Yeah.
Are there any scholarships for students who are applying as transfer applicants?
Yes, for transfer applicants, we have need-based scholarships. Yeah.
Great. And a similar question that I can take it is, are partial droppers who are currently in another university but are hoping to change prioritized? So transfer applications are different. Right now, fresher applications are open. So please keep a look on the website on when the transfer applications will begin. It's a separate application form. And in case you have any queries regarding the credits transfer, or which year will I be transferred to, which course will I get into, we have the transfer department's email address on the website as well. Please write to them and get all your questions answered. What exactly is asked in the interview? So the shortlisted students, as I mentioned, receive an email and they choose their own date and time. So in the interview, the panelist will would like to understand about your story, would like to understand your background. And the questions will revolve around what you have put in the application form. And they just want to understand you as a person, your personality, and just see if you're the right fit for the residential program. If we upload self-predicted scores, will these marks be eligible for merit-based scholarships?
Yes, so see, certainly you will be having your class 10th board results when you are filling your application form for the current UG 2026 intake. So that is what the main merit criteria is, which is also mentioned on the website. And class 12 scores will not really be considered when we will be, assessing you or considering you eligible for the Achievers Merit Scholarship. So it will be your 10 scores, and apart from that, your overall performance in the admissions process.
Right. So I have another question related to the admissions. For IB, result will come only in July. How does it work for IB students? So in the application form, for IB and Cambridge students under 12th standard section, you have to put your school counselor's details, like name, number, and email address. Along with this, you also have to put your self-predicted grades. So the school counselor will receive a link to send in the school predicted grades. And along with this, you also need to put your self-predicted grades. Okay, I'll just take up a couple of more questions, like last two questions. I have my chemistry boards practicals on 1st of Feb. What if my Ashoka aptitude exam is on that day? See, then you can consider applying in round 3 then if your chemistry board practical is on 1st of Feb, because the Ashoka assessment date cannot be changed. And then you can consider for round 3, because round 3 assessment will be on 3rd May. Is there a passing mark for AAA? No, there is no passing mark for AAA. There is no negative marking there. Just a last financial aid question. What all financial documents are required? Tejasvi, Jyoti.
Yes. Can you repeat the question once?
I was asking what all financial documents are required.
Oh, great. So it starts with the earning member section, it starts with the Haryana domicile section. So if you are a domicile of Haryana, then you need to submit the Haryana residence certificate, which is also called the Haryana domicile certificate. And please remember that no other document suffices for the need for the Haryana residence certificate. Only and only Haryana domicile certificate for the applicant. Next, we come to the earning member sections, which talks about the ITR of the parents. Each earning member should have an ITR, bank account statements, salary slips if they are salaried. If they are business owners, then Form 26 AS, GST returns, financial year for the past 3 years, bank account statement for the period of 12 months, and we've listed all the documents on the sample need-based application form, which is why we request all of you to go visit and check out the need-based sample application form that is listed on our website, and you will get the idea about what all documents are required. So if there are any loans that are outstanding, the loan repayment schedules, if there are any assets and investments that you've made, so any supporting documents related to if you have a balance in EPF, then the EPF passbook. If you have an FD, then the bank account passbook would be required. If you have investments in mutual funds and stocks, then CAM statement, which is or ECAS statement, consolidated account statements are required. If you have bonds, then maybe the ECAS and all the supporting documents are required. So all the investments also do require the absolute proof that these are the investments. And if you still believe that there are some documents which you may have and are not listed in the need-based sample application form, please do write to us and check if those documents are necessary and sufficient in case of your which are related to your need-based application form, and we will be able to help you with that in a timely manner, of course.
Great. I'll just take up the last question. How does Ashoka identify potential in students who may not have perfect academic scores, but have depth and self-driven curiosity? See, it's absolutely fine if we do not have the perfect academic scores, because there are various components in the application, right? There is merit, there is extracurriculars, there's essays, there's Ashoka assessment, and there's an online interview as well. So that's why the admissions team follow a holistic evaluation process where all the applicants are evaluated on their level of engagement with their academics, extracurricular activities, interest, and potential within the unique journeys. So the admissions are looking at your intellectual curiosity, they're looking at your research, your writing, your open-mindedness, and your willingness to learn, your teamwork skills, your problem-solving approach. So don't worry too much about the academic result. Just know that the through the complete application process, that is the online application, the assessment, and the interview, we want to know more about you rather than just your merit. So I think that helps you clear all your questions. And with this, with that, we just come to the end of today's session. Thank you for joining us. We hope that this webinar was helpful in understanding Ashoka's commitment towards making education affordable and accessible, as well as getting your last minute queries resolved. Please take a minute to share your feedback with us. The link to the feedback form is provided in the chat box. In case you have any other application related questions, you can join our live help desk online between 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. tomorrow and the day after tomorrow. The link for the same is provided in the chat box. I would once again like to inform our audience that the deadline for round 2 of the undergraduate program is 21st January 2026. So please apply soon. If you have any further queries regarding various other aspects of the university, feel free to write to us at ugapply@ashoka.edu.in. Once again, I thank our speakers for taking out time to participate in this discussion. This brings us to the end of the session. I wish you all the luck with your Ashoka application.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, and wish you all the best.
Thank you, everyone. We've also tried to answer all your queries over the chat box, but if in case you feel that there are some things which you need to discuss with us, please feel free to write to us at ug.scholarships@ashoka.edu.in, and we will be able to take your queries there. Thank you so much. Thank you for being available. Thank you.
Thank you.